Snow came down in thick, relentless sheets, swirling in the wind like shards of crushed glass. It was the kind of cold that crept through layers and gnawed straight at the bone, and Derek had long ago stopped trying to brush the frost off his hair or sleeves. His sneakers, thin, off-brand, second-hand, were soaked clear through, squishing with every step as he slogged down the lonely stretch of road leading away from the diner where he'd just worked a brutal double shift. He could have tried calling an Uber, but his prepaid phone had died 3 hours ago. He could have taken the bus, but the last one had left before his manager let him off. And so, like most nights, he walked. Head down, hands jammed into pockets that didn't do a thing to keep them warm. His breath fogged out in heavy clouds, forming and disappearing faster than he could exhale. His shoulders ached, his legs felt like lead. He was 21 but carried himself like an old man with a lifetime of burdens. Then, HOOONK. The sharp blare cut through the night like a siren. Derek snapped his head up. About 20 yards ahead, a sleek black car sat crooked on the side of the road, its hazard lights blinking weakly through the curtain of snow. A rich guy's car, no doubt about it. Silver trim, tinted windows, rims that probably cost more than Derek's yearly rent. For a moment, he considered walking right past. Not my problem. Rich people have roadside services. They don't need me. But then the driver's door cracked open, and a hunched figure emerged, an elderly man, frail and shivering, clutching the side mirror like it was the only thing keeping him upright. Even in the dim light, Derek could see the man's lips turning blue. He didn't think, he acted. "Sir," Derek called out, already jogging toward him as the snow slapped hard against his cheeks. "Don't stay out here, you'll freeze." The old man tried to wave him away. "I'm fine. Engine's overheated. Just need to." His words dissolved into a violent cough. The wrench he was holding slipped from his fingers and disappeared into the slush. "Okay. Nope, inside," Derek said firmly, looping an arm under the man's shoulder with surprising gentleness. "Come on. Warm car first. Repairs later." He helped the man settle into the driver's seat, then took a step back to inspect the vehicle. Steam still billowed from under the hood. He didn't know everything about engines, but he knew enough. He cracked his knuckles, bracing for the shock of the cold, and lifted the hood. The metal burned and froze him at once. His hands went numb instantly. But he kept working. He traced the hissing sound to a busted hose. A simple fix, if one had proper tools. He didn't, but he did have determination. He slipped off one of his sodden shoelaces, yanked it free with stiff fingers, and wrapped it tight as a makeshift clamp. His teeth chattered, his vision blurred, but finally, the hissing stopped. He slammed the hood shut. The engine sputtered, then rumbled back to life. Derek grinned through frozen lips. "There, that'll hold." Inside the car, the old man stared at him like he was seeing more than a stranger, like he was seeing character. "Get in," the man said quietly. "You're coming with me." And though Derek didn't yet know it, that command would change his life. The warmth of the car's interior hit Derek like a punch to the chest. It was almost painful after the bitter cold, his skin prickling and tingling as blood rushed back into his frozen fingers. He held his hands near the vents cautiously, as if the heater might suddenly change its mind and stop working. The scent of leather filled his nose, clean, expensive leather, the kind he'd only ever smelled when passing fancy dealerships on his way to work. The old man beside him sat quietly, his breathing slowly evening out as he thawed. His coat, though clearly high-end, was damp with melted snow. His gloved hands trembled slightly, but his eyes were sharp now, studying Derek with quiet intensity. "So," the old man said finally, adjusting his scarf with stiff fingers, "you fix cars for a living?" Derek let out a short laugh. "Nah, just trying to keep my own junk running long enough to get to work. Learned a few tricks from YouTube in desperation." The old man chuckled softly, the sound more like a warm rumble than a laugh. "Resourceful, I like that." They drove in silence for a while, the windshield wipers pushing away snowflakes in slow, rhythmic swipes. Outside, the world looked calm. Inside, Derek's mind was anything but. Why had this man insisted on giving him a ride? And more importantly, where were they going? He glanced at the digital dashboard. Everything glowed with premium precision. He was afraid to even breathe too close to it. "You haven't told me your name," the old man said. Derek Miles." "Arthur," the old man replied casually. "Just Arthur." As if that didn't carry some kind of weight. The way the hotel staff had spoken later, "Mr. Hawthorne," that hadn't been casual at all. You live close? Arthur asked. About a mile down, Derek said. But you, past it. I know, Arthur replied simply. Derek's heart skipped. Then where are we going? Somewhere warm. That's not very specific, Derek muttered nervously. Arthur turned his head, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Relax, son. If I wanted to harm you, I wouldn't have needed car trouble to do it. Derek blinked. Fair. A few minutes later, the car pulled up in front of what looked like a glowing palace, towering columns, glass windows stretching 3 stories high, marble floors shining under golden chandeliers. Derek stared out the window in disbelief. This is a hotel, he said flatly. One of mine, Arthur replied, stepping out calmly as if he were walking into a grocery store. Derek shot upright. One of yours? Security guards rushed forward the moment Arthur emerged. Mr. Hawthorne, we were about to dispatch a search team. Hawthorne. Derek's blood ran cold. No, not that Hawthorne. Hawthorne Industries. Hawthorne Aerospace. Hawthorne Towers. Net worth $14.5 billion, according to the financial magazines Derek stocked at the convenience store. Arthur turned back to him with a calm smile that suddenly looked much more intimidating. Come along, Derek, he said. We have much to discuss. And though every instinct screamed at him to run, Derek followed. Because deep down, he knew, people like Arthur Hawthorne didn't cross paths with people like him by accident. The dining hall was so polished it felt criminal to breathe inside it. Crystal chandeliers twinkled overhead like captured stars, their light reflected across rows of gleaming silver cutlery and glass. Derek sat stiffly at one end of a long mahogany table, feeling like a scruffy raccoon who had wandered into a royal banquet by mistake. Arthur Hawthorne sat across from him, calm, composed, sipping soup from a porcelain bowl worth more than Derek's entire paycheck. Eat, Arthur said. Derek hesitated, glancing at the neatly folded napkin, unsure if he was supposed to put it on his lap, his chest, or wear it as a crown. He eventually draped it across his legs awkwardly before taking a spoonful of the steaming broth. He didn't mean to, but he groaned. It was good, real food, not gas station sandwiches, not instant noodles, not stale toast, food that tasted like warmth and care. Arthur raised one eyebrow in amusement. I take it you approve. If I die tonight, Derek muttered between bites, bury me with this soup. The old man chuckled. It wasn't until the plates were cleared that Arthur finally leaned forward, folding his hands. You helped me tonight without hesitation, he said quietly. You had no idea who I was. You owed me nothing, yet you acted. Derek shrugged, suddenly shy. You looked like you were about to pass out. I couldn't just walk by. Arthur studied him with an intensity that made Derek sit up straighter. Integrity, he said softly. Rare quality these days. Derek fiddled with the cuff of his worn sleeve, unsure where this was going. Look, Mr. Hawthorne, I appreciate the meal and all, but I should probably. No, the word was firm, absolute. Arthur placed a folder on the table and slid it toward him. This, he said, is a full scholarship. Housing, tuition, living expenses, covered. Choose any technical or engineering school you like. You will intern at my company when you're ready. Derek froze. His brain short-circuited. What? He croaked. I don't make offers twice, Arthur said calmly. You have potential. I want to invest in it. Derek stared at the papers, then at Arthur. Tears burned in his eyes, but he tried to blink them back. No one offered people like him anything. He'd fought for every scrap of opportunity. He didn't receive kindness, he gave it. I can't take this, he whispered. Yes, Arthur said, voice softening. You can, and you will. Something broke inside Derek, not in a bad way. Like a wall being kicked down. He reached out with trembling hands and clutched the folder to his chest. Thank you, he choked out. Arthur nodded with quiet satisfaction. Good, then it's settled. From that night onward, Derek's life transformed. He moved into a real apartment. He enrolled in engineering courses. He worked hard, harder than ever, because he swore he would earn what he'd been given. Years later, when winter came again and snow blanketed the streets, a luxury car pulled over beside a stranded, shivering stranger. The window rolled down. A young man leaned out, confident, warm-eyed, successful. Need a hand? Derek asked, because the night he helped an old man in the snow had not been luck. It had been purpose.